Hi, welcome back to the Play Guitar Like a Pro playlist. Today I want to talk about and demonstrate a thing that I think of as the mind's ear. Excuse me if I sound a little blocked up, I've had terrible hay fever, but I'm struggling through it. So the mind's ear is today's subject, and we're used to hearing painters and photographers and other visual artists talk about the mind's eye. And in fact, it's a phrase that we use a lot in everyday English language. Oh yeah, in my mind's eye I can see this or I can see that. And a painter or a photographer will visualize a scene in their mind's eye that they'll then either paint or photograph. And the same applies to musicians. And it's a good idea to develop your mind's ear, because for photographers and painters, the mind's eye is as useful a piece of kit as their camera or their paintbrushes are. And the same for a musician. Your mind's ear is an incredibly useful facility. So to do this, I'd like to talk about just a simple major scale. Let's use the scale of C major, which we all know and hopefully can all play. And what you need to be able to do is, in your mind's ear, you need to be able to pick out each degree of the scale and be able to find it. So if I hear a phrase that goes, I immediately know that's the fifth, the third, and the root. So I'm going to play a major scale and just talk about each degree of the scale in the way that you can learn to recognize them. My personal way of recognizing degrees of the scale is that I see them as attitudes. And people quite often say music's the language of emotion. Yeah, it is, but for me it's more than that. It's also the language of attitudes, human mindset, I guess you could call it. So the root of the scale, the first degree of the scale, is a C. And if I play a C chord, play a note of C over it anywhere on the fretboard, for me that degree of the scale, the first degree of the scale, I think of as home. I'm at home, the doors are closed, the windows are closed, I've even got the curtains drawn, I'm sitting in my chair in front of the fire, I don't need to go anywhere, there's nothing threatening me, there's nothing demanding my attention, I'm just sitting at home, and I can hold that note against a C chord without needing to move it. It just sits there quite happily. Okay, the second degree of the scale I think of as something's caught my attention. I'm not completely at rest and I can't hold it against the chord. It has to go somewhere, either home or up to another note in the scale. So that second degree of the scale, to me, I'm not totally at rest. It's not really threatening, but something's made me look up and look around. There's something happening. The third degree of the scale, I can hold that against the chord, it doesn't need to move anywhere. But now I've actually stood up and I'm maybe looking out of the window. I'm not totally at home and at rest, but I'm not in motion anywhere, but I'm just looking out. The next degree of the scale is the fourth. I can't hold it against the chord. It wants to go there or even home. And the fourth degree has a very definite feeling of being in motion. I've opened the door, I've gone out, I'm going somewhere, I'm in motion. The fifth degree of the scale, it is at rest against the chord. I can sit on it quite happily. doesn't need to move anywhere. But this is a really interesting one for me. The 5th degree of the scale for me is all about strength, and it's almost like I'm standing on top of the battlements of my castle and looking out over my land. I'm prepared to defend it. I'm not under any threat, and I'm at rest, but there's a definite feeling of strength. That's quite a powerful note for me in the scale. The next degree of the scale, the 6th, for me this is a smile. I can kind of hold it at rest. It's more comfortable if I resolve it somewhere, but you can actually sit on it quite happily, and to me this is definitely a smile. The next degree of the scale, the major 7th, is a B, and for me this is quite nostalgic and bittersweet. It's not full on sad like a minor 3rd, but it's quite definitely melancholy, slightly bittersweet. We should also talk about the flattened 7th. This is similar to the 5th in that it's quite strong, but it has an air of almost defiance about it. I know that I shouldn't be holding it, but I can make it work against the root chord, against the C. And we definitely need to talk about the minor 3rd, which you can't hold over a C major chord, but if I play a C minor chord, I can hold the minor 3rd, the E flat, and it sits quite happily on top of the chord, but it's definitely sad. It's not happy like a major 3rd, it's definitely sad. So we have the 6 degrees of the scale for me. The 1st, which is at home, doors closed, no need to go anywhere, do anything, no threat, nothing to worry about. The 2nd, I'm kind of looking around, something's caught my attention, I haven't got up yet. The 3rd, I've stood up and I'm maybe looking out of the door or the window, I might have even opened the door. The 4th, I'm now on a journey, I've left the house, I'm going somewhere. The 5th is about strength. The 6th is a smile. The major 7th is bittersweet. The minor 7th, there's a definite attitude of determination and strength about it, and the minor 3rd is just sad. The flat 6th or raised 5th is a quite ambiguous chord. It's kind of, oh, well maybe, and I definitely need to resolve it somewhere, probably there or up to there. Different people interpret the notes of the scale differently. Some people see them as colours. Each note has a different colour. Some people smell them. They experience the different degrees of a scale as different smells. Some people taste them. So if you find yourself thinking, okay, I don't get all these attitudes, but whenever I play a 6th, the little toe on my left foot tingles, and if I play a 7th, the big toe on my left foot tingles, that's absolutely fine. Any way that you find that it speaks to you is fine. Scientists call it synesthesia. It's definitely a known thing. I recommend you develop your mind's ear in this way. Go on the internet and search for ear training exercises. There's loads of stuff out there that can help you develop your ear, your mind's ear, and you definitely need to do it. It's a vital part of your armoury. So I actually use these. If I'm playing either a melody or a solo or something and I decide I want to play something strong, I'll use the 5th. If I want to do something happy and smiley, I'll use the 6th. if I want to do something bittersweet and melancholic, I'll use the major seventh. So I use them a lot when making up parts or playing solos or melodies. That's how they make sense to me. Okay, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.